war, destruction, a life reborn, over and over again, around you at all times. This has become our way of life on Aeternum. You have come to get used to things coming and going, thriving and keeling over to their demise. Some of you have come back to life time and time again. Some of you have seen people die with despair, and become the lost, or just become consumed by corruption. The island of Aeternum is eternal. However, your friends and enemies alike may never be the same. The one thing you can rely on is the tool of your trade, or in many cases, the tools of your numerous trades. My name is Danotage, and today we're diving into the perks that I think you should have on your tools. And before we jump into the pool, remember that this is essentially a ranking list of my favorite perks for each tool, as I do not believe in objectively the most important or least important perks on a list. So please, like this video, and away we go. Okay, let's begin with the most important tool of them all, because, as we all know, that's why you're here. The sickle. You purely use for harvesting hemp, and absolutely nothing else, except for that delicious garlic. In all seriousness, the number one perk I place on my sickles depends on a few things, as will every tool in this discussion. The perk purely depends on the job at hand. If you're purely harvesting because you just want to sell your raw materials and become a full-on merchant, harvesting yield is going to be your best friend. Players will also want some more rare materials you can get from magical plants, hemp, and herbs. But you can absolutely guarantee that the majority of these early to mid-level crafters will just want to level their skills with raw materials, so the more you can gather for your fellow Aeternum settlers, the better. You may also gain some rare materials on your journey, just as you fill your bags. But purely for money, you want as many regular materials as you possibly can, as they will definitely sell at any trading post here on Aeternum. For those cooks and alchemists out there moving towards late game, pretty much as you start looking into star tools, star metal tools specifically, and above, harvesting luck can be extremely helpful, as you will need those uncommon herbs for most of your meals. Before that, yield will still be your best friend. It should also be mentioned that Azoth extraction is a wonderful perk to have on your harvesting sickle, simply because of how many harvesting nodes there are. There are harvesting nodes in pretty much every square meter of Aeternum, and as long as you're harvesting, you should never run out of that source of Aeternum's wonderful magic. Perks like Gathering Alacrity or Horticultural Discipline are not perks that serve the harvesting sickle very well, due to the fact that there are so many nodes and how fast it is really compared to other disciplines to harvest them. Speed and XP shouldn't be something of a problem when it comes to harvesting. Now, to the tool you are actually probably most interested in hearing about, the Pickaxe. If you're someone that asks, why am I even talking about tool perks? Because you're all about luck perks and nothing else, this is probably your favorite part. Mining luck is by far the number one pickaxe perk for me. It is important to note that the reason for this is because I'm a jewelry crafter. However, I do believe it pretty much serves everything. Yes, mining yield is very important, especially if you're on a world where you're always competing for mining nodes. But if you're mining purely for iron and silver, and it's extremely nice to pull a large amount of precious gems from a mining hull, which is why luck is still so important. Gems tend to sell virtually everywhere on Aeternum, and any piece of gear with a gem slot will constantly eat up new gems. It is also important to note that for those that are working on their jewelry crafting, the need for many gems in order to just create any type of jewelry or fuse some smaller gems to make bigger ones is vast, and I mean vast. With that being said, mining yield is a great perk because it doesn't hurt to have extra return on your bag as soon as you fill it. However, because of the competition and the speed of mining nodes, which is rather slow, the pickaxe is one of the only tools I place Azoth extraction near the bottom of the list. Alacrity and Prospector's Discipline are a little bit more useful because unless you spend a ton of time running iron paths over and over again, your character and quest leveling will take you to places where you just won't have high enough mining level to take advantage. Now to the tool that flips everything on its head if you're not careful, and may turn you into a little bit of a bump on a log. The Logging Axe. The number one Logging Axe perk is by a long shot Lumberjack's Discipline. Whoa! Crazy! This guy's insane! Yes, Lumberjack's Discipline, followed directly by Alacrity. So Lumberjack's Discipline gives you more XP towards lumbering, towards being a lumberjack, towards logging. Alacrity gives you that speed at which you cut down a tree. This is purely because of how slow it is to level your logging skill, and because of that fact, it's pretty easy to find young trees pretty much everywhere. Getting to level 50 logging is absolutely the slowest journey if you don't include fishing into this discussion. But we won't mention fishing too much because even though it's extremely lucrative, pretty much every perk for fishing is a good perk. It doesn't take too long in your questing progress to come across wordwood trees, and there are mature trees absolutely everywhere. The feeling of not being able to cut down those for what seems like forever is not the greatest feeling. Once you level your logging skill, you may want tools with logging luck, Azoth extraction, and logging yield. But until then, I would definitely stick with tools that are blessed with Lumberjack's Discipline. And last but not least, we're on the Skinning Knife. The Skinning Knife is another tool that completely depends on which crafting skill you're focusing on at the moment. Skinning luck and Azoth extraction is generally a great go-to combination. However, if you're working for Aeternum's Michael Kors or Gucci, you're gonna want a lot of leather for your new bags. In this case, you want skinning yield. Obviously, you will need a great amount of faction tokens if you wish to make bags on your own, but that's what makes bag makers so valuable. Skinning yield is something that works twofold for bag makers and armor smiths. There are many travelers out there that love hunting big game, and this makes competition for their hides extremely fierce. You may have your own special location for thick hide and the like, but coming across big bears or something similar means that there may be other hunters about, and you're going to want to retrieve as much as you can from every single kill. The difference would be for cooks that need rare and epic animal products to drop for their best-selling delicacies, and for that, you want Skinning Luck perk. And there you have it. There's my rundown on why there's no one perk that fits all. Every situation calls for a new perk. Every perk benefits a different job or purpose. Use this information as you journey through Aeternum and craft until your fingers fall off. Then, pour some Azoth on it and do it some more. Until next time, I've been Danotage, and it's been a pleasure to have this chat with you. Now, be on your way. There's much to do. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.